Thank you very much for being here. My name is Diederick. I'm in charge of the hydrogen energy activity for the Liquide group in the Northwest cluster in Europe. And I'm trying to show you a bit some showcases that we have done to scale up large-scale hydrogen systems for mobility in the region that we are here developing. And before I start, I'll give you a few words about what is the Liquide group. We have our booth over there. But just to give you an impression of where we start from, what we do, and how we grow that quickly. So the Liquide Group is a listed company on the Paris Stock Exchange. We have 67,000 people being employed, out of which roughly 1,000 people are in the hydrogen business today. So we ramp up progressively fast, and we are active around the globe. So we are in 73 countries. And we have more than 4 million customers. Now, 4 million customers is not in hydrogen, I can assure you. We have a lot of customers that are, for example, in the healthcare sector, where we also deliver gases for home care or for surgery in hospitals. And I will show you a bit the business lines. We have a sales of around 30 billion euro, which has been boosted last year a lot because of the value of energy in our portfolio. So we transfer the cost of the energy always to our customers. And that increases the sales year on year, or it can vary year on year. And net profit is a sound profit. We have 2.7 billion euros, so we have a good cash flow into the company that we can reinvest into the energy transition. So then, where do we start from? We have a long history, let's say, already in hydrogen. We are more than 60 years in hydrogen, and basically coming from the industry. Where the mobility is a new factor for us. Okay, so we have this, we started to grow already in the space industry, delivering liquid hydrogen to the rocket programs that you benefit from every day, that bring the GPS satellites in the air, which has been adventures of the Air Liquide group. So we built tanks, we built the propulsion for rockets and so on, and this is where we started in the past. And from these techno teams, we have also started to develop HRS, or hydrogen refueling systems, that we piloted and that we pioneered already quite some years ago. And we built the first ones also in Europe and also in this region, where we built already in 2014 the first stations that were connected to our hydrogen pipelines. And I will show you a bit what it all means. So we have an annual production of 1.2 megaton of hydrogen and the sales of roughly 2.2 billion euros. So we're not fresh, we're not new kids on the block, but we know what is hydrogen and how to deal with hydrogen. Now, this is a bit of giving you the overall picture of what we do here in the region to scale up and to see how we can accelerate the market. So the first thing that you need to know is that we have quite a significant hydrogen network. We operate roughly 900 kilometers of hydrogen pipelines here in the region, and we have 2,000 of kilometers of hydrogen pipeline around the globe. But the majority is here in the region between Antwerp, Rotterdam, and we have a big part also at 200 kilometers in the Ruhr area. Okay. Now, to feed the hydrogen in this pipeline system, we have SMR units, so steam methane reformers, that still make hydrogen from natural gas with a special technology, where we inject, let's say, for the industry traditionally, and we have expanded that network already a few times. So you see the world scale units injecting on that network. Now, this is grey hydrogen, so we have a challenge in the industry. We need to greenify, like everyone. So we have two big projects in the region here, which is Porthos, as you see there, and Antwerp at Sea. Two large initiatives to decarbonize our steam methane reformers. So we take care roughly of 50% of the CO2 abatement in the Antwerp harbor, and we are a big player here in the Rotterdam port also with other partners to capture all that CO2 and to bring that CO2 into the North Sea, which then makes the industry already low carbon. And we can benefit as a starting point also for the mobility sector. And then we are building and constructing or let's say we are developing the projects for 3 200 megawatt electrolyzers, which you can see in Normandy, which you can see in Terneuzen and in the Maasvlakte, Rotterdam area. So this is what is today being developed. And we got good subsidies from Europe and from national authorities to make that happen and to start to anticipate the upswing of the mobility market, which is being fed by it. And then downstream in the green boxes, you see that we work on larger scale projects where we try to let's say, uptake the market, or where we stimulate the market to grow. And this is one of the projects that we started, is called High Trucks. High Trucks is a project where we have 1,000 trucks in an ecosystem to be run in 2026, 2025, 2026, between 3 harbors. So we have the major logistic hubs of Europe with the 2 main harbors, sea harbors here in the region, where we try to connect Antwerp, Rotterdam, together with the largest inland harbor, that's the port of Duisburg. So this triangle is for us is a kickstart program, where we say, okay, here we want to have 1,000 trucks, we would like to have 25 refueling stations that can fuel trucks back to back, every 12 minutes a truck, and we need to process that on a regular basis. So this is the beginning of the projects, and then we have a project called Rhine. There's a parallel session going right now for the Rhine consortium, and those that are still active in this project, is where we would like to decarbonize all the inland shipping on the Rhine River. So there's a lot of exhaust, or CO2 exhaust, from inland shipping here in the Rhine Delta, as we have 6,000 ships going between the harbors and the main the Rhine Ruhr area. All right? So that is the big picture. Now, in order to get there, you know, we need to master certain things. So we need to lead by technology leadership. So we push continuously the boundaries, and are developing the new technologies to make sure that we have competitive product available, which is safe and which is also sustainable. And for this we have electrolyzer technology. We have our own electrolyzer participations with partners to make sure that we have the right technology in-house, but we also are not afraid for third-party electrolyzers. We choose the best technology for the project. The same we do for steam methane reforming. We have a big engineering teams that you can also talk to if you have interest here in the booth, that do the development of large-scale steam reformers or steam reformer technologies plus CCS. So we also sequestrate or capture and sequestrate the CO2 later on, once the gas is produced. And then we have the new fuels to come up with the e-methanol and so on, where we have derivatives, let's say, of the hydrogen that is primarily produced for mobility. And then everything about conditioning, where we put a lot of effort today, is how to store, how to transport hydrogen in the most competitive way to our consumers. So we have, let's say, the pipeline system, the 900 kilometers of pipeline, which is a very important and core asset, because we can plug in on the pipeline and we can already build refueling stations without trucking from the source of production to the destination. But we also have the possibility to liquefy the hydrogen, which is not in a lot of cases. We have one of the technologies in-house from an Air Liquide group perspective, and we are mastering the subject very well. So what we would like to promote, and where we are looking into, is when we have good sources along the coastlines, because we need to get power and electricity that comes from wind and sun power in the future, but we need to make sure that we also can transfer that product over longer distance away from the pipeline to destination areas. And this is where Liquide comes into play. So we are putting a lot of effort in it, and we're trying to develop, and we are developing projects in Liquide to make sure that we can do on the refueling stations that you see at the right side. Also the liquid to gas station, where we bring liquid to a gas station for refueling of trucks or ships or whatsoever, and can transfer it into gas at the station itself. Or we have, let's say, liquid to liquid filling, which is probably coming up. There's a few OEMs or truck manufacturers piloting the new technology. So this is what we do. And then, you know, on the technology side, so to run a hydrogen refueling station, we deliver a lot of technology. So we develop the stations and the dispensers. You see dispensers in the booth as an example. This is what we bring to the market, but we are not operating them ourselves. So we would like to be excellent in the midstream part, the conversion of energy into hydrogen, distribute it all the way downstream, and then make sure that our customers can use the right technology to be safe and to be efficient. So here you see a bit of one of the projects. It's called the High Trucks. So what we try to, what we are doing here is following the reduction schemes of Europe. So it's a strong reduction of CO2 emission. And the first milestone is in 2025. We need to be minus 15% in terms of CO2 exhaust of heavy-duty mobility transport in Europe. And this is doable still with existing technology. So what you see is that truck manufacturers are doing their best to have better streamlined products, to increase the efficiency of the diesel engine and so on with classic technology. They can still make it. If they do their best, they can get there. With the next phase to 2030, it's impossible to do with the tuning of what they would like to achieve today. So they need to go to either electrification or they need to go to hydrogen as a fuel to be fully zero emission. And the legislation is also changing because you get more and more city centers where any emission is banned. Okay, so to get access to city centers for retailers to bring your food and so on to the place where you would like to consume it is not anymore possible after the years to come, and it depends a bit on the European countries how far this will go and how fast it will go. But there's a problem to be solved. Okay, so we see a lot of retailers already making their first investments in the new technology. So Hydrogen is not the first project. We are doing other projects in Europe, as you can see, and the technology is allowing it. So today's fuel cell trucks or even combustion engines, which is a new runner-up on hydrogen, we can make the autonomy roughly 1,000 kilometers already of the truck, meaning that for a day shift of a driver, it's one refill of 12 minutes, and we make it for the next shift. Okay. So you see also our technology partners, and one of the ones that is probably worthwhile to mention is also the Total Energies, where the Liquide group has signed a joint venture to invest at least in 100 heavy-duty stations in 5 countries. So the 3 countries of the Benelux, we have Germany and we have France, where we try to promote and where we will build and accelerate a station or a network of stations that is capable of doing fast fill for trucks, which is quite unique at this stage to bundle let's say the forces. So this is what the consortium is about. So we will save with the first 1,000 trucks, and the 1,000 trucks is nothing compared to the European economy, to be honest. But we need to kickstart somewhere. So if we don't start, if we don't get volumes, if we don't get the acceleration, we will never get the cost down. So this is what the project is all about, is to do that in this region. And the region is well chosen because of all the, let's say, the best in structure, where we have a lot of assets available, and where the CO2 exhaust per inhabitant is extremely high. So how does it work? We work a lot in value chains in this project. We make sure that we de-risk every block of the value chain. So we cannot do it alone. This is the message. We work together with all the other partners. We are not the only one delivering refueling technology. There's others doing that too in the project. We're not the only one producing gas, because if we do it ourselves, we will never create a new economy, and then we are monopolist in a situation where we don't want to be in a monopolist situation. So the more you join up and the more you get creating a certain landscape of more players that all line up along the different positions of the value chain, the better it is to get a sustainable new economy. So what have we learned from it? Just to round up here, it's about a few points for you to mention. It's access to sufficient renewable power. We have a lot of regions that are not, let's say, having power enough, to put the electrolyzers or to even charge electrical trucks. So there's a lot of, how do you call it? There are a lot of regions where we cannot get access even to power to make trucks running. Availability of vehicles, strong commitments from the full value chain, super important. We work a lot with shippers that then have the transport companies transporting for them, and not the, let's say, to have a direct contact with the transport company, because the transport company can simply not pay for the technology. Okay, so the more we get upstream, the better it is. Then we have the economies of scale. We need to understand the legal frameworks, and this is difficult in the different countries. But our speech to the authorities is keep it stupid simple, because no one understands how all the regulation works in Europe. If you ask the man in the corner, they will never know. Okay, so it is a specialism, but keep it very simple to accelerate. We have the agility of the ecosystem. Be fast, scale up with your customers, and see what you can do jointly. Educated and trained personnel is something to be mentioned. We see that the knowledge of hydrogen is very scarce. We need to educate. We need to have the right population. We need to have students in the companies and so on to train people to get to where we want to be. It is not a given. And then the financial incentives and penalties, it speaks for itself. We need to have incentives, to decarbonize this industry and to make sure that we have not only 10 trucks on hydrogen driving around, but get to thousands of trucks. Okay, just here in the region, 160,000 of trucks driving around, tractors, and we need to decarbonize that all. And then we need to have the right political support, which we get, by the way, from Europe, from the national authorities, to make that all happen. So we are very enthusiastic about the projects and the developments that we do as a company and all the partners that we have around us. High Trucks, we have 70 partners into the project that all make it happen together jointly with us. And we hope we can accelerate that. And it's the same for the inland shipping market, which is a parallel track here at the conference, where we also work on, and we are working on the first airport applications as well as airplanes that we need to get into the air with hydrogen, and that can also safely land and do by 2035 public transport. This is the aim. Thank you very much.